Retro Queen Bee Art. Let's be busy in art. Hi all, welcome to my channel. This video is a takeoff of art by Marlene, the feathers of day 3. Here you can see them in my Christmas tree. Wasn't this a beautiful sunset? The first thing I decided to do is dampen my sponges. I don't have the same sponges as Marlene, but I wanted to try to see if that made any difference. And when you put the paint on, first you want to use gesso your tag because of the type of printing we're doing. Now I took the leaf stencil and my first color is green. It's a paste, stencil paste that I use. And I'm just popping it up and down, up and down. Stencil paste, you have a little more texture to the paint, so it rarely smudges. You do need to hold your stencil as tight as you can with your fingers so it doesn't move around, because we're going to add colors on top of the green. Try not to get the green on your white. Easier said than done, though. Now I'm adding a bronze orangey color that's also a paste, stencil paste. I'm adding this paste all to the outside of the leaves, some to the inside. And I'm actually getting a clean sponge for each paint. Stencil paint and the paste usually dries pretty quick. Now I'm adding a copper. My favorite copper is made by Golden. It's a fluid acrylic and it's just a copper. It's a beautiful color. I've gone to 3/4 of my bottle already. And then after that, I'm adding gold. And the gold paint, this is my favorite gold. It is by Folk Art, Treasure Gold. And it is 3081 gold. It's really pretty gold. And then voila, I lift up the stencil and you have a leaf in various color form. We are going to try to keep a white background as much as we can. We are going to keep a white background. So again, I would reiterate, try to keep your stencil butters if you use them, or stencil paint, acrylic paint if you're using them, to stay within the stencil. You could actually do this with just one stenciled feather. Of course, I wanted to do 3, so I made my tag longer. Excuse me, I had a tickle and sneezing. I hope you didn't hear it. I'm making this particular feather a little bolder than the original one, but I'm doing the same process by adding the different layers. There you see it. I peek just to kind of see how it's printing. So if there's a certain area that maybe I could add a little more of the different color to. I see a little area I want to add a little bit more gold to. And I'm happy with that one. And here I go with the third. So they're just half of the feather, the tip of the feather. And then I do not have enough green. I run out of green. So here I'm using my mouth to open up the jar. I would not suggest that to anyone. But I need more green and I need more orange too. Or maybe it's the orange that I did not have any, it's the orange butter, stencil butter that I do not have enough of, and I had to get the bottle and try to keep my stencil still while I'm opening the bottle is a challenge, but somehow I forgot to put the orange paste in my tray. I did the green and the copper and the gold, but heck, who knows? Sometimes life is just that. How is she? Just a bowl full of Jell-O, wobbling around, changing. And I'm pretty happy with that. So you do need to dry, and see I got a little spot that on the white, very difficult to keep this white. But, you can paint it all white, and that's what I decided to do, is just go around the edging and paint it white. And I even painted some of the inside of the leaf white where it was white, because I wanted a little better detail in the feather, like maybe some of the paint might have went, the copper and the gold I noticed, not the butters did not, but the copper and the gold, they tended to leak under the stencil a little bit. And I'm thinking in hindsight, maybe it would be better to allow those colors to dry. And maybe that wouldn't happen. I don't know. So I'm deciding now just to take a pen and color. White, I think, is that a white pen? Yeah, I'm using a white pen. And I'll put the pen names in the description area. I'm just doing white leaves, white between, just kind of getting this white feeling going on. And making sure that there's white between the leaves where it should be. Or at least I think it should be. And then I do color the gold where the gold is at on the feather. Am I saying leaf or feather? I mean feather. I don't know why I'm calling it a leaf. It's a feather, Vicky. Feather, feather, feather. This is day 3 of Art by Marlene. The stencil is the feather. A feather reminds us of hope. And reminds us we have beautiful wings of hope. You could use this feather as on wings on a paper doll. That would be cool too. So here I'm just going around in the gold where the gold is at on the leaf. Just to highlight those gold areas, and then I highlighted the white areas. Just making the leaf crisper looking. I am using the Canon watercolor paper, but I still gessoed on top, mainly because Marlene said to, especially if you're working with these types of leaves. Here I go again with these types of feathers and the way that you are stenciling them. I don't know if I'm going to ever stop saying leaves in this video. I don't want to stop the video and do everything all over again, so please excuse me. And when I say leaf, I mean feather. I'll try to say feather from now on. Working with a feather is newer to me. So, I mean, it's new. I've never done this before. I really don't have much experience with stencils, and so that's why I really wanted to do Marlene Advent Calendar. And she's showing all different kinds of techniques to use with stenciling. And I look at it, and I might add a few more things. Sometimes if I turn it around the piece, then I go, oh, I missed that. I better get a little bit more into this area. So there's no rhyme or reason why I'm coloring, except it looks good to my eye. I think the feathers turned out really pretty in color, and outlining them and making them look crisper looking, it is turning out to be quite pretty. So it looks like I'm going to be making 2 different techniques of one stencil. And this one is the leaf stencil, where I'm actually painting right into the stencil with a white background. And then the other video I have is doing the negative feather stencil. And then what I do with these 2 feather pieces, I just glue them together, and one is either the front or the back, but I have feathers on both sides, because you can display on your Christmas tree, or what I'm doing for my Christmas tree. I thought, well, I can look at this feather section for a while and then turn around and look at the other section. I don't have a real Christmas tree. Sometimes there's gaps if you have a real Christmas tree, and it'll float around between the 2 paintings. Here I'm just kind of touching up any paint that I got onto the white paint. And then I'm drying all that, and I add the stencil. It's a pink star, and I did use oxide pink. So when I added the gold, it did bring the oxide out a little bit in a smeary kind of way, but it still looks good. So when you put anything wet on an oxide, that's going to happen. And so I was trying to just do it a little bit, just to add the gold touches to the star. And here they're done. And I made a card to be able to trim my edges to be straighter. Works really good. And so you see me putting the 2 together here. That was a practice run that you saw. And I'm just using my big glue. I would suggest to put this under a book for a couple days to really get it flattened out. But here it is on my Christmas tree. Thank you.